Hello, you fabulous Fujoshi and fantastic Fudanshi, and welcome back to one of our weekly Ascendance of a Bookworm discussion videos, our final Ascendance of a Bookworm discussion video as we talk about the last episode of Season 3 of Ascendance of a Bookworm. So before we get into it, quick reminder, if you haven't done so yet, to boop that up snoot. Be sure to check us out over on Patreon if you want to continue to help support the channel. With that said, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I have thoughts. They're probably not going to be what a lot of you want to hear. If you don't want to hear any criticism of the episode, which I can totally understand, because it's the last episode, it's very emotional. So if you don't want to hear any of that, I am going to say now to maybe back out, and there's no harm in that. I totally understand. Like, when you watch a finale, you don't really want to hear, like, immediate criticism of said finale or anything like that. I take zero offense if you want to hop out now. A-okay, you know, like, and again, if you love this ending, because I know that there's gonna be people who do, if you love this ending, that is good. I am very glad that you got, like, a really dope season finale, and that you're likely looking forward to what comes next. You know, I'm very happy for you, and I mean that genuinely. But for me, this is likely it. I am probably hopping off the Mine Express as of now, and the reason why I say that, the reason why I'm like, okay, I'm out, is because this is not what I wanted from the show. This is not the direction that I wanted for the show. I no longer even really like Sylvester that much anymore, because of reasons that we'll get into. I feel like I have the characters who I thought I liked, I don't, and the characters who I do like, I am basically being told I'm not going to see them a whole lot, which is annoying. Essentially, I feel like I was sold one show and then given another. Now, for some people, they're going to love that, right? For some people, they're going to be like, oh, I thought this was like a show about, like, this isekai girl who wants to make books, but then it becomes this, like, open, broad, spanning sort of, like, epic tale of this girl who has to, like, who goes from a commoner to a noble, and how the world works, and there's probably going to be a crazy adventure at some point, like, all this stuff, right? And that's not really what I wanted. If I wanted an adventure series from this particular series, I still wanted it rooted in the characters that we know. Because the thing is, when I go to an isekai, I don't really want to feel like I'm watching, like, because a lot of people are saying, well, in reality, well, in the real world, like, it's an anime. It's escapism. I don't give a shit about the real world when I'm watching anime. You know what I mean? We're looking at lines on a page moving in such a way that makes them look like they're coming to life. I'm not watching real life right now. I'm watching a bunch of people with anime-ass blue and green hair. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. It's not what I'm looking for. What I was looking for was a story about a girl who likes books a lot, who wants to bring books into this fantasy world, and I didn't expect all the religion and bureaucracy to just bounce into it. It's not what I wanted. Now, again, if that's what you wanted, that's awesome, because you definitely got that. And from what I'm seeing, it's written relatively well. It's not the best, but I do think that it's written in a way that doesn't feel like you're getting kind of gypped. It doesn't feel like, It doesn't feel like poorly written to me. I just don't agree with it. You know, like, I just don't like the direction. Again, so I really want to stress that. Like, I really want to stress that this is not a knock against Miyakazuki, the author. Like, they clearly have, like, a story in their heart that they really wanted to write, and this is it. I just don't agree with the direction that it took. I really don't like the idea that the characters that we start with are not the characters that we end with. Even in something like, say, Attack on Titan, the characters that we start with, the initial cast, a lot of them definitely don't make it, right? Like, certain characters don't make it to the end, but a good chunk of them do, and even the characters who don't make it all the way to the end of the series are constantly referenced and still hold weight within that story. The idea that Gunther, Effa, Thule, and the baby boy, whose name is escaping me, Camille, the fact that they're just, like, no longer family, I was so thrown off by that. I was like, okay. Because, again, so now I could tell you what the spoiler was. So the spoiler was that Mind was going to fake her death and would be adopted by some nobles, and the rest of her family would be forever taken from her, right? So I was told, like, basically it was like the spoiler was just like Mind fakes her death and leaves her family. That was the spoiler. Mind fakes her death and leaves her family. Again, this was because I had criticisms of season 2. One of the Bookworm fans got mad at me for having criticisms of season 2 and then just spoiled season 3 for me. Thanks. Let me stress something. You and I can disagree, and we don't have to call each other names. I don't think any of you are stupid. I don't think any of you are shitty. I don't think any of you are any of these things. If you like this season, we just don't like the same show. It's fine, right? Like not even that we don't like it. I like Bookworm. At least I really enjoyed season 1. Season 2 I really didn't like, and season 3 is kind of hit and miss, right? Like, I think there's a lot about season 3 that really worked, right? And I will say that, like, if you must get rid of the characters, again, like, I do feel like this was a really, like, I didn't really get that emotional, because, again, like, I was so, like, I don't agree with this, but I will say that, like, watching, in particular, Thule leave Mind, that really hurt. And Gunther, like, sort of saying farewell in the last line of Mind pretending to be a noble, like, again, it's one of these situations where I recognize that the writing is really solid, right? The writing's really solid. Oh my god, the acting is beautiful. Iguchi as Mind. Like, look, I have no problem with Yuka Iguchi's performance as Mind. I might not like the character of Mind, but Yuka Iguchi is a queen. Like, Yuka Iguchi does a phenomenal job as Mind. But oh my god, Tsuyoshi Koyama as Gunther and Megumi Nakajima as Thule. Oh my god. Just tear my heart out, why don't you? Like, they were great. And I don't want anyone to think that the cast is bad, or that I even really think that the direction is bad. I think the scene hit with emotion. I just totally disagreed on a story level with where it was going. You know what I mean? I also vehemently disagree with what Sylvester does in this episode. This episode made me not like Sylvester. Because I went from being like, Sylvester's this really cool character, we don't know a lot about him, he's really interesting, and then we find out everything about him, and he's Ferdy's brother, which was a surprise. I was like, oh, that's a cool twist, right? And then he says, I considered getting rid of you all too. And I was like, oh, now I don't like you. Just like that. You're as shitty as the other nobles. Goddamn, that was fast. You're gonna kill her family to keep them quiet, and the only reason you didn't is because you were scared that Mind was gonna use her powers on you. So you're a shit. Like, that made me go like, wow, I don't like Sylvester anymore. I really didn't like that. Also, not sure how I feel about the Delia thing. Like, it was nice that, like, finally the head priest dude is, like, actually being, like, sentenced to death. Like, he's actually gonna die. Same thing with his the people who assisted him in this. I do agree that Delia being killed was a bit extreme, right? Because I was like, I don't think Delia necessarily needs to die. Like, that feels a little harsh. I do think that Delia not being a member of the church anymore is a good thing, and I think her just sort of being a caretaker at the orphanage is, like, neat. But I feel like there should have been, yeah, like, because I was like, that's not a punishment. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not really a punishment. Feels like Delia gets off pretty scot-free. She's basically just gets what she wants. She gets to raise Dirk and just kind of keep living, right? Like, it just feels like no lesson was learned for Delia. It's like Delia gets, like, no real comeuppance, in my opinion. It's just like she goes back to the orphanage, but the thing is, like, I get that she used to be scared of the orphanage, but she clearly isn't anymore. So, like, weird. My other two favorite characters, right? Because my favorite character, as you guys know, is Lutz, and then my other two are Gunther and Benno. We already talked about Gunther. Gunther leaving Mine was very emotional. He does still check in on Mine, which I appreciate that the characters still kind of check in with Mine. That's neat and everything. But the thing is, unless I'm wrong, it just seems like they're not going to be in the show anymore. Because at this point, like, Thule, Effa, Camille, Gunther, like, they don't serve a purpose, and I don't assume we're going to see them very often. Because I'm used to seeing them once, like, an episode, if not once every other episode, and that's about as much as I want to see them. Either once an episode, every other episode, or I'm just not watching. It's the same thing with Benno and Lutz. If I don't see Benno and Lutz at least once an episode, if not once every 2 episodes, I'm just not watching. Those are the characters that I watch for. I don't even really like mine. And the other thing that I want to stress too is people saying like, how can you watch the show and not like the main character? There's so many shows. And I refuse to believe that everyone just loves the main character of every series that they watch. Like, I know so many people who can't stand Deku, yet love My Hero. I know so many people who can't stand Goku, yet love Dragon Ball. I know so many people who think Toru is bland, at least in the beginning of Fruits Basket, and still watch Fruits Basket anyway. Right? So, like, don't tell me that, and don't try to villainize me just because I'm giving you my opinion that I don't like mine. Because mine bothers me for a lot of the same reasons that a lot of other isekai protagonists bother me. Especially characters like friggin' dude from Mushoku Tensei, Rudy. I forgot his name for a second. Mine bothers me for a lot of the same reasons Rudy does, and the way that people try to play it off is a little weird. No. Just because one, like you know why I feel like I know why people are kind of giving mine a pass, and I don't agree with that. I think weird is weird. I don't really like mine's character like that. I will say she's grown a lot. She's not quite the selfish, kind of icky brat that she was at the beginning of the series. She has grown a lot, but so does Rudy. You know what I mean? Like, I still don't like those characters. Like, I can respect the writing, I just don't like those characters. So for me, when you're leaving me with Sylvester, who threatened to kill the characters that I like, Kars, who is neat and has a fun name, Karstit, but has like 0 personality, the bodyguard who has no personality to me, Damuel. Damn, Damuel. Ferdinand, who you guys know I have very mixed feelings on. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I really don't. It's like, why would I keep watching? Like, thankfully, I think Lutz still keeps in contact with mine, or at least Benno or one of them keeps in contact with mine, so maybe we would see them. I think if I watched any more of the show, I probably would just wait until it's done and binge it. If not, just skip around and like not watch one episode, just read a synopsis and wait till the other characters that I like show up. Because at this point, like, I just think I'm done. I think I came back because Bookworm was one of the biggest shows I talked about on this channel, and I knew that there was a lot of like hardcore Bookworm fans who still stayed subbed to the channel just to see me talk about it. It felt not fair for me to not talk about it, but I've seen a lot of you say, like, very sweetly say that, like, look, man, if you don't want to watch it, you don't want to watch it. And I do feel bad. I kind of feel like I let some of you guys down because I really wanted to like this season. Like, I really did, but it just wasn't hitting. And especially the ending, like, I just, like, again, I can respect the direction. Like, the director does a great job. The Seiyu do a great job, but I have the name here. Mitsuru Hongo does a great job with the direction. The Seiyu do a great job. I just disagree with the writing, and that's not a knock against Kazuki. They're just telling the story that they want to tell, and I have no problem with that. I have no problem if you love this show. I have no problem if you love mine. I have no problem if you love anything about this show, like anything in regards to this show. No problem at all. In fact, again, we have something we can talk about because I also loved season 1. I just didn't like where the characters went and the story went. Right? Like that's just it. If you're gonna continue watching, you know, like when season 1 comes out, if you guys want to like comment on a random video, this is my blanket permission. If you want to comment on a random video when season 4 is coming out, like, hey, Underhill, like, this happened in Bookworm, like, or like your boy show, like Lutz is in the newest episode of Bookworm, you might want to check it out, or like, hey Underhill, like Bookworm season 4 is going really well, cool stuff's happening, blah blah blah. I give you my permission. This is the statement here. I give you my permission. Remind me, because I might forget and be like, why are people talking about Bookworm? remind me that I gave you permission, right? Like, I give you permission to, just let me know how things are going. I'll probably still watch it. I just might not talk about it because, to me, the thing that I try to do with my content is that I don't want to talk about shows if I don't have anything really, like, if I have more negative to say than positive, I just don't want to make that video. Like, this is very uncomfortable for me to make. I prefer being positive. So, like, especially when it comes to content, I want to be hype and excited, right? And I don't like being negative, right? Even if I feel like it is valid criticism, I just don't. I don't know. It just makes me feel bad. I just feel bad. I don't like it. How very Canadian, I suppose. But I just don't like it. So I'll probably continue to watch the show on my own. And maybe if it's a really good episode, you'll see me pop up, right? I'll do a video where I'm like, hey, I've been watching the show. Here's my thoughts up till now, but this is what I really want to talk about, and I want to talk about this, right? Like, I'll probably watch it on my own, just not cover every single episode the way I used to. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Who even knows when Season 4 is? Maybe there's an announcement for it. I'm not sure yet. But, Bookworm fans, I leave it in your hands. If you want to continue to update me and let me know how the series is going, go for it. If you want to leave me behind with Season 3, that's also perfectly okay, and you're totally valid for that, because I think I am going to walk away from making Bookworm content. I'll probably still watch it on my own. Maybe not like weekly when it comes back. Maybe like in batches or like as a marathon once the season's over. I'm not entirely sure. But this is, I think, the last, possibly last. More than, I'll say like 70% sure this is the last Bookworm video. So it's been a trip. It's been fun. I appreciate you. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, with that said, outro. And that's going to do it for today's video, everybody. So we hope you all enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot. Share the video around. And of course, I have to give a big thank you to our lovely patrons. Look at these beautiful people. All these people who help keep this channel afloat. I sincerely appreciate it. And of course, I have to give a big thank you to Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all once again so much for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon or here on YouTube just by watching the videos. I sincerely appreciate it. Be good, and we will see you next time.